Hello again, Des here from GMIT Letterfrack with another of our DCG SolidWorks tutorials. Now just before we begin, if you want more information about the degree programs we offer in furniture design, wood technology or teacher education, then please see our Facebook or Twitter pages. So this is the exercise we're about to complete. It's a request from a student to model this portion of a blender. Now it doesn't look that complicated, but the thing that makes it complicated is the outer surface is entirely curved, it's entirely circular in cross-section, but the void, the hollow in the center, transitions from being perfectly circular at the top down to being octagonal at the bottom, which is quite difficult to do. So let me just show you my take of it. To complete this, we're going to use a number of features: the revolved boss base to generate the main shape. We're going to have to use converting geometry to help make sure the wall thickness is consistent throughout. I'm actually going to use a lofted surface to create the void, the hollow in the center. We're going to use a circular pattern to make sure we don't have to duplicate our work. We'll do a number of features once and then revolve them around. We'll also use the split feature and the rib feature to finish it off, and then to get this text on it, an offset extruded cut. So let's begin. Now moving over to SolidWorks, we'll begin by creating a sketch as shown, and this is going to be revolved to create the main body of the cup. So its height is going to be 180. This top horizontal bar will be 60 and the bottom will be 35. And rather than drawing in an arc or a straight line here, I'll use the spline tool. 2 points from there to there. Right click, select, and click the spline, which will allow you to activate these drag handles to drag and tweak the curve the way you want it. Now I want this one to be perfectly vertical, so as I said, I'll click that little diamond shape and over here align it vertically. So you can also drag the little arrow to make it more or less pronounced, but I'm happy with that. So approve that and go to Features, Revolved Boss Base, and there we have it. As long as you pick this axis, of course, for the revolution. So now it's time to start hollowing out this. If I were to use the shell feature, and let's say I use a wall thickness of 4, it will do a very good job hollowing it out, but that's not actually what I'm after. I need it to be octagonal at the bottom and circular at the top. So right click the shell and delete. And this is how I chose to do it. To begin with, if I select the front plane, you can see that it intersects the model nice and symmetrically. So let's begin a sketch on that. So hit Sketch and Spacebar and Normal 2. Now rather than drawing a curve on, I'm going to select Convert Entities, which should allow me to pick up the edge of the cup, and then press the green tick to approve that. You can see what it's done. It's traced a line along the intersection between the surface and the plane. With the sketch still open, I will go to Offset Entities, click that black line, and I want that to be offset into the solid itself, so I will reverse the offset and make sure it's set to 4 mm and approve that. Just before I go any further, I want the newly offset line to be the inner surface, to represent the inner surface of the void of the cup. This first line is just for construction, so let's click that and set it to be for construction, just so it doesn't get in the way later. So close that sketch, and now what I want to do is start a sketch on the top surface of a circle, and I will start it at the origin, and you can try your best to snap it onto that newly created point, but it just won't work. So we'll deliberately leave the circle a little short, tap Escape. Now by holding Control, I should be able to pick the circle and the point. And when I do and have both of those selected, I should be able to select Coincident. And the circle will be coincident with that point. Now while I'm here, I'll press the space bar, hit Normal 2. I don't actually want to do all 8 surfaces individually. Let's just do one of them and rotate or circular pattern it. So I'm going to start a line at this point and come across to the origin and then go up at an angle like that. Set that little angle to be 45 degrees and I want to trim the remainder of the circle. I just need an arc that is 45 degrees. And while I'm here, to avoid confusion later, I will click these lines, that line, sorry, and hit for construction, click that line for construction. So all that work was to get a section of the circle, an arc, 45 degrees, but also starting at that curve. That curve is going to be very important in a moment. So we'll approve that. We'll then draw the octagonal portion of the inside of the beaker. So let's go to Features, Reference Geometry, and Plane. Pick the bottom surface. Make sure the offset is going up the way. You may have to press Flip Offset, and make sure it's set to 4 mil. That plane now sits on the bottom of the inside of the cup. So if we start to sketch on it, a polygon, make sure it's set to 8 sides, and we're going to again snap onto the origin, and again not try to snap onto that curve, it won't let us, so move a little bit away from it. And you'll notice that point is actually below the plane, so I'm not interested in that point, I'm interested in where this curve intersects this plane. So what we'll do is hold Control, select that point and this curve, and then we will select Pierce. Now once again, I don't want all 8 sides of that, so if I orientate them, you can see what I want. I actually need this line. So all of these lines, that one, and all the rest of them need to be set for construction. So the quickest way to do that is hold Control, select them all, and hit for construction. There we have it. So let's try that again. One more, click that one for construction. So just for a bit of neatness, I'll right click and hide the plane. Close the sketch first, right click, hide the plane. And I need one more curve. I want that arc to transition down to that line, and in doing so I want it to follow this curve. But I need a curve at both ends. I need a curve at this side and also at this side. So the quickest way to do that, to make sure it's accurate, is to go to Features, Reference Geometry, Plane, select this little construction line at the top, and also the top surface. I'll try that again. Reference Geometry, Plane, select that line, and that top surface. Now what I had done there was I hadn't pressed Escape before I went into the command, and I was trying to create a plane with a line down at the bottom that I actually had selected. So it's important to tap Escape before you go into any command. Now on this plane, I'm going to do something very similar. I want to create another offset converted entity. So just by the way, while I'm here, I will say that those planes are infinite. If your plane ends up positioned like that, you can drag it and make it longer, or you can drag it and make it shorter. It's an infinite plane. Those drag handles allow you to make it bigger. Click anywhere within the plane to actually allow you to move it. So I'm going to start a sketch on that plane. Let's look 90 degrees to it. Hit Convert Entities and select the edge of the cup. Then press the green tick to approve that. And as we did before, we will offset entities, the black line, reverse it, 4 mil, and there we have another curve. Green tick to approve. Again, I just click this construction line, sorry, that line, and turn it to a construction line, and green tick to approve. So I'll hide this plane for neatness. Again, close the sketch, right click, hide. So I have 4 important pieces of geometry there. The curve at the top, the curves going in the vertical direction, which are going to guide the loft in a moment, and also this straight line at the bottom. Rather than doing a typical traditional loft, I'll do a lofted surface. You may or may not have the Surfaces tab here. If you do not, right click and make sure Surfaces is ticked. So call up Surfaces and then a lofted surface. I'm going to pick the curve at the top and the line at the bottom. Sometimes this happens. You can see that in my case it hasn't, but the green dot has started at the left of one profile and the left of the other profile. If you get a situation like this, simply click and drag the green dot so they're approximately in alignment. Now that is a straight loft. You can see from the preview that it's transitioning straight down from the top curve to the bottom line. What I want to do now is activate the guide curves and select one of the curved lines, in this case the one to the left, and then move over and select the one to the right. And by doing that, it will loft between the two profiles, but it will follow those guide curves as it does so. So press the green tick to approve. And it's a little hard to see in this view, but now a surface bodies folder has been created and a surface loft has been created within the solid. So to pattern that, I want to go to Features, Linear Pattern, and the drop down arrow under Linear Pattern will expose Circular Pattern. But before I do that, I'm going to go to Reference Geometry, Axis, Two Planes, and then select two planes that intersect. In my case, the front plane and the right plane. And press the green tick to give me an axis. So now if I go to Circular Pattern, I'm not patterning a feature, I want to pattern a body. When you make a surface loft, it's the body option that you want to select. So the body I want to pattern is Surface Loft 1 in my case. The axis has already selected itself in this box. If not, you would click in this box and then select axis. And I want 8 of those. Press the green tick to approve. Now just for a moment, the plane I made at the bottom, plane 2, I want that bottom piece to be protected. So what I will do is go to Insert, Features, Split. The trim tool will be that plane, so I will select Cut Bodies, and I will select the top and the bottom body and press the green tick. Now in my solid bodies folder you can see the bottom, in my case is called Split 1, 1, so you can right click that and hide it, and now I'm just left with this portion. Going back into the Surfaces tab, I want to go to Knit Surface, and if I expand the Feature Manager and expand the Surface Bodies folder, I want to select all of these in turn and knit all of those surfaces together. When you've knitted all those together, press the green tick. It will actually create a single surface body. In my case, it's called Surface Knit 1. And that has 0 thickness, but you can see from the preview it's got the shape I'm after, and I want to use that to cut this solid. So I will go to Insert, Features, Split. The trim tool will be Surface Knit 1, and I will select Cut Bodies, and I want to click both of the bodies involved. Then press the green tick, and now I've got two bodies, one in the center, one on the outside. And over here in the Solid Bodies folder, if I select Split 2 and either hide it or delete it, there's nothing to stop you deleting it, I'll hide it for now, it should give me the shape I'm after inside. Circular on the outside and a circle transitioning down to an octagon on the inside. So let's quickly turn back on my base split, right click it and show it. Let's stitch those two back together. Insert, Features, Combine. Click the two solids, press the green tick, there we have it. For neatness, I will hide the axis. And what I'll also do is just take a section for a moment to examine how that looks. And I'll quickly go and add a fillet. So Features, Fillet, beg your pardon, Fillet. And let's say a regular fillet of 8mm on the inside and the outside. So let's now use the rib feature to add some stiffening ribs to the inside of the cup. To do that, we'll have to start off a sketch first of all. So go to Sketch, I'm going to use a spline and draw on the front plane. I'm going to start up here somewhere within the solid wall and finish down at the bottom. Right click, select. When I select the spline, it can be hard to see the drag handles in this view, so what I will do is change it to a wireframe view for a moment. Now when I click the spline, I can see the drag handles more easily. So let's just bring that out a little and bring this one in a little. So it's not critical what that shape is. I'll also turn off the section view. I'll approve that. And I'm going to use that sketch, that spline, to define the shape I wish to have my the rib. So if I go to Features, Rib, select that sketch, I can see in my case this arrow is pointing in the way, which is correct. If yours is not pointing in the way, you may have to select Flip Material Side, but I'm happy with that. I also want the rib to be changed to be at, let's say, 2.5 mil. And if you press the green tick, it more than likely will throw up an error asking you which body do you want this to run up as far as. So simply click the solid itself and press the green tick. Before I do so, just this zebra-like pattern here, that's just the surface body. Actually, it shares the same surface as the inside of the cup. So if I press the green tick, that should disappear. But over here, surface bodies, that surface body is still visible. So if you wish, you can right-click that and hide it. So there's the rib. Let's just apply a small radius fillet to that. Click that top surface. Let's try 1 millimeter. Looks good, and press the green tick. So let's use the circular pattern again. The axis is going to be the axis I created earlier. The features to pattern will be the rib and the fillet. But I don't actually want 8 of them. In the version I was drawing, it only had 4 of them. So let's reduce that to 4. Press the green tick, and you're set. Now the last thing I'll do before I change this over to be glass is I'll create the etching, the logo on it. So if I go to Reference Geometry and Plane, select the front plane, and make sure this plane is just away from the surface of the solid itself. And I want to draw the logo, or draw geometry to represent the logo on this plane. So if I go to Tools, Sketch Picture, it's grayed out in this case, so I need to go back and open up the sketch. Let's just pick a line or an arc. Now that that is active, now that a line has been selected, the sketch is fully open. So if I go to Tools, Sketch Picture is now visible. I'll select the picture from my desktop. I need to resize it. And to rotate it through 90 degrees, I will simply type in 90 to this rotate box and press the green tick. If you want to make edits after you've pressed the green tick to the image, double click it, and it opens up the image editor again. The image can be quite overpowering, so what I will do is hit full image and set the transparency up, press the green tick, and now it's just a matter of tracing around it. So I've skipped on a little and I've just finished tracing around the logo I'm after, so I'll close the sketch. And just to do a bit of housekeeping, I'll right click and hide the plane and also get rid of that image. So if I expand the sketch I'm working on and right click the picture, I can suppress it. So let's extrude cut that into the surface. So we will go to Features, Extruded Cut. Let's select the sketch. It's sketch 17 in my case. Sometimes when there's lots of open profiles like this or closed profiles like this, you actually need to select the profile. So select each of the portions that you want to actually include. And rather than going blind, I want to go offset from surface. I want to set the depth to 1 millimeter. And I need to select the surface that it's actually going to offset from. So I'm going to select this surface. If I zoom in, you can see it's going to offset up until extrude cut up until it's offset 1 mil away from the surface. But I want that to cut into the surface 1 mil. So simply go reverse offset. Press the green tick. And there you have it. So let's now go and use the circular pattern tool to send that feature around 4 times. And let's apply a plastic or glass, a gloss to the entire part. And what I did was I applied a frosted glass or a sandblasted glass to the feature. So I'm going to apply it to the cut extrude. And I'm also going to apply it to the circular pattern. And there you have it. So here's the same component after it has been rendered. That was my interpretation of how to do this. What I like about it is it shows off a nice range of features, and they're still pretty simplistic to do. It's not overly complicated. And in another video to come, I will show you how to put the threads on the top of this cup and also how to apply the lid. So thanks for watching. If you want more videos, as always, please keep in touch with our GMIT Letterfrack YouTube channel, where you'll find a lot more videos.